Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. This is Throwback Thursday, and my throwback this week using the Translucent Florals is the Delightful Florals Designer Series paper. This has retired. It is gorgeous, gorgeous paper, and I will be using it on this pop-up fun fold card. So to do this, I've got the template, and I'll leave the template up so you can see it. I'll probably just pop it over here. But you're going to take a 5.5 by 8.5, just like you're going to start a normal card that you would score down the middle and make a card. But we're going to score 1 7/8 inches from each edge, and then again at 3 inches from each edge, and this leaves us 2.5 inches in the middle. So our DSP, we would need 2 of 5 1/4 by 1 5/8 for the edges, and then 2 of 5 1/4 by 7/8 for these pieces. And then our DSP in the middle would be 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. And in this card, I'm just going to pop this in here so you can see. I'm going to do the middle in basic white, so I'm cutting that down to 5 by 2.5, and then I'm going to decorate that piece. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to pop this over here. Just make sure that it's still in frame so you can see it. I'm just going to pop some things out of the way, and I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and moving it so you can see. We're going to come in at 1 7/8, just like that, and we're going to take our cutting blade out of the way, and we're going to score. And then we're going to move it over to the 3 inch, and we're going to score again. And you can measure it all the way along. I find it easier just to come back in again. So we're going to go in at 1 7/8. So we've got 1, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, and then popping up to 1 7/8, and then coming back to 3 and scoring again. Okay. So I don't know if you can see the score lines on that, but we're 1 7/8 and 3, and 1 7/8 and 3. Now what I need to do is I need to fold this back like this and grab my bone folder like this, and then bring it forward like this. Okay. So that's how we would fold it. I'll need to do that on the other side. But what I'm going to do before I do any of that is I'm going to attach my designer series paper. So I've got my 5 1/4 by 2 1/4 piece that's going to go in the middle. And then I've got my 2 5 1/4 by 7/8 pieces that are going to go in here. And this paper is directional, so I need to make sure I've actually got the paper the correct way up. And this is my 5 1/4 by 1 5/8 that is going to go in here like this. So I'm just going to attach all of these pieces, and then I'll work on my front piece. And I've already stamped and die cut the flowers that I'm going to put on the front. And I've used soft sea foam and berry burst for those. So I'm just, same way I would do anything, equal distance, top, bottom, and side, and that will mean that I'm even all the way over. And then I'm going to work my way through. It doesn't matter which side you start from, or if you start in the middle and work your way over, but what I want is for these to be even at the bottom, and then I'll worry about the sides as I go along. And if you notice, this is, I've tried to keep it as close as I can to being one piece that's cut apart. It doesn't work in all cases because I used 2 different pieces of paper, but where I could, I tried to make it look like it was just one picture that had been split. So that's going to go down like that, and then we'll pull this piece in. Again, I usually line things up like right in front of me, right underneath me, but now I'm working kind of at a distance, so I'm under the camera, so my apologies if things are just slightly crooked. There we go. And then we'll come in with this piece, and then we'll start building the front. And I got all my pieces of paper the correct way up, which is a bonus. So there we go. So now I can come in and I can do my folds. So again, this one folds back, and I can run my bone folder down the edge to crisp it up, and then it folds over like this. So then we've got, this will still go in the envelope, but it stands up. You can see how it stands, and the front pops up. So, and the one side is crisper than the other because I haven't gone back and done my bone folder on this side. So there we go. So then the whole front pops up. And before I do anything else, I don't usually decorate the inside of cards or anything like that, but I'm just going to put a little bit of decoration on the back, because the back is where you're going to be writing, and it's quite plain. So I'm just going to come in and add just a little bit of greenery. And that's with the soft sea foam, and I'm going to come in with the berry burst, and I'm going to take the very small flower and just add the small flower to the design. Maybe we'll just pop one at the top there, like that. So you can decorate the back so it makes it pretty for people to look at when they're reading the message. Now, I've got my 5 by 2 inch piece of basic white, which is going to go on the front like this. So it's very plain, and I've got the flower already cut out, and it's going to go across like this. So I was debating what to do with this, and I think I'm going to leave it plain. I'm not going to run it through a folder, but I am going to stamp it with the happy birthday in the berry burst at the top, just like that. So that's done. I'll move that out of the way. And I could bring in some decoration if I wanted to. I am going to use some of the In Color Shimmer Gems just to decorate it up a little bit. But first, I'm going to just put some adhesive on the back. I was playing with an idea about using blending brushes to color the die cut before I die cut it out. And so I did some blending with the Lemon Lolly and the soft sea foam, and then I stamped in the soft sea foam and I die cut it out, but it looked kind of strange because it wasn't white around the edge. So if you wanted to do something like that, you could absolutely use the baby wipe technique for sure. So this, I want to tuck this so that it kind of sits like that. So I need to be aware of where I'm putting this down. So there we go, I can put it down like that. And then I'm going to use a dimensional along the top and just a little bit of adhesive at the bottom. And we're going to tuck it just underneath this piece here. So it looks like the flower is kind of growing out of the stems. And then we're going to dimensionalize this to the front of the pop-up card. So also the reason why I only used one dimensional on there is so that I had room to add a dimensional to the middle of this piece without adding too much height to the card. So we're just going to peel those backings off and adhere it to the front of the card, and then we'll add some bling and we'll see where we go. And in the comments, you can tell me how you would do it differently, what you would do with the front to make it just pop a little bit, maybe doing some blending brush around the edge. But because the background of the card is quite busy, it's nice to have that quiet space, but we are going to add a little bit of bling to it. And I'm just going to pick up some of the larger of the shimmer gems and just pop them around. just to kind of help bring the eye to the center. And then why don't we use some of the little ones as well? Maybe pop one up there. One, where do we want to put this one? Or do we even want to? Yeah, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just leave it. Some cases, less is more. So that is our Throwback Thursday card using the Retired Delightful Floral Designer Series paper. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.